So today's words are gibberish, corduroy. I know like one word. I'll Google them. Gibberish. Unintelligible or nonsensical talk or writing. Highly technical or esoteric language. Gibberish, corduroy. So this is Frankie. Frankie's a little boy. He's 10 and he really loves medieval things and he doesn't really like visiting his grandpa. The only cool thing about Grandpa Corduroy is that one time he gave Frankie a real sword. Well, I mean, Frankie's parents said that it wasn't a real sword and that Grandpa had probably stolen it somewhere. But Frankie decided it was a real sword. He never really understood why he was allowed to play with a real sword, but he hadn't killed anyone yet. This is Frankie's grandpa, so his real name is Henry, but everybody calls him Grandpa Corduroy because all he says is Corduroy, Corduroy. He doesn't say anything else all day, he just talks gibberish. He's like, Corduroy. Everybody thinks he's lost his mind, and he used to be a really brilliant scientist, but he spent many years trying to create a time machine, and then it didn't really work, and he went crazy, and now he just says corduroy, corduroy. So every time they visit Grandpa Corduroy, they buy him something with corduroy because they think that makes him really happy. So he has all of the clothes corduroy. Corduroy t-shirts, corduroy pants, corduroy scarf, everything corduroy. For Christmas, for birthdays, for his, I don't know, Thanksgiving, any occasion that you can give presents. He gets corduroy. He seems happy, so he must like them. Every time it makes him laugh a little bit. Then one day, Grandpa Corduroy died. Frankie was a little bit sad. They did a funeral and they rang the church bells and they drank some wine and they went home. Not long after the funeral, they gave Grandpa's things away. Her mom got an old teacup from Grandma. Grandma was already dead from a long time ago. Frankie didn't know her. And his dad got a baseball, which Frankie thought was silly because Dad hated baseball, but Dad was really happy to get the baseball. And Frankie was told that he could just pick up something from what was left. So he went in the attic, which was Grandpa's office, Grandpa Corduroy's office, and he saw Grandpa's spaceship. Well, not his spaceship, his time ship. Which is kind of the same, you think about it, it's just you're moving to some other place, except it's in time. Anyways, you couldn't get in the time ship. They had the time machine. They had closed it because last time Grandpa used it, well, he lost his mind and his hair kind of disappeared for a while. And we never saw the cat again. So Frankie didn't want to take the time machine. Frankie didn't even look inside this time ship because there was a spider, and everybody knows that spiders can kill you. So he went around it, and he found a really cool painting that was hidden right behind it. And for some reason, no one had ever seen it. No one. But it was a really cool painting. But Frankie couldn't really see the picture well because he was supposed to wear glasses, but he never wore them because he thought it looked like a nerd. So he didn't wear his glasses. And then when he put the painting closer to his face, he realized that Grandpa Corduroy was in the picture. Somehow photobombing. a very, very, very old painting. And there he was, stealing the crown and stealing Frankie's sword. That's when Frankie realized Grandpa Corduroy was never crazy. He did go back in time. He did steal these objects. The king's crown and also that sword. And later Frankie read about it, and he read that it was a very famous sword that was never found and was a very big treasure because it belonged to the king. And it was the sword with which he won that really big war that Frankie could never remember which war it was because he really didn't like studying history. But now he had it. And Grandpa Corduroy was the coolest grandpa ever. But he still couldn't understand why Grandpa Corduroy was so obsessed with corduroy. And then he turned the painting around. And that's when he realized there was an inscription at the back of the painting. And it said, Corduroy? It said corduroy. And now Frankie put it together. Because Frankie had done a little French. He didn't like French at first, but then the teacher was really pretty, so he studied really hard to impress her. And he realized, corduroy. Corduroy wasn't corduroy. It was Corduroy. And Corduroy meant the king's entourage. The king's entourage. The people that worked with the king. The people that basically were kissing his butt. And that's where Grandpa went. And he was so proud of it that he only spoke about this the rest of his life. Corduroy, corduroy.